I'm going to springboard from that. Now let's talk about legacy casting in this show and legacy characters.
Yeah.
Was there, I mean, obviously we all thought Pike and number one and Spock, who I was afraid of seeing, was fantastic. Was there anybody when you found out that character was cast for Strange New Worlds, you kind of went like, ooh, I don't know.
Trying to go down the list in my head real quick in terms of who was on. I was not so much, I don't know, but I was very curious what they were going to do with Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very curious as to how they were going to, similarly to Chapel, flesh out a character that we knew very little about.
Oh, sure.
With Mbenga, whom I loved in the original series, but again, just like Chapel, we didn't get a lot of them.
No, Chapel was actually a poorly served character in a lot of ways on the original Star Trek.
Yeah, she was just kind of there because Gene Roddenberry was, his.
Well, look, I understand how that happened.
Yeah.
Hey guys, those two girls I'm sleeping with. I need to get them jobs.
Yeah. So they don't sue me, but CBS pays them because they're putting the pressure on me.
But because her character was like, "Oh, I'm in love with you, Mr. Spock." That was like every week that she was on,
right?
Except that one time with Roger Kirby, or what, I can't think of
Corby.
Corby, yeah.
That's one of the questions now. They're like, "When's Corby showing up? Is there going to be a thing?"
Yeah. Well, they've done a good job paying attention to some of the stuff you thought they didn't.
I agree. They are nailing it with the Spock Chapel situation. They're nailing it with Spock and T'Pring. We're getting a full fleshed out Dr. Mbenga and what's going on with him and his life. We now know he has a daughter. I mean, it's like all these things that are nicely fleshed out. And then there's Uhura, it's just like, and it all, to me, makes sense what they're doing and how they're doing it in the general sense. I know I kind of went off the rails in terms of the original question, but I just feel like, just going back to Mbenga, I wasn't so much like, ooh, but I was just like, I wonder how they're going to flesh this one out. I wonder how they're going to, and then again with Chapel, we knew nothing about Chapel. So curious, it's seriously going to be an opportunity to really know who this woman is. And then there's number one.
Yeah.
Who, for 50 plus years of Star Trek, in the back of my mind, I always thought she might have been a Betazoid.
Oh, I never came across that one. Okay.
That was just always, for whatever reason, my theory. I always thought, I wonder if she's Betazoid. Because we don't know what the hell she is.
No, we didn't know anything about her.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, oh, okay, and now we know, and all that. So yeah, it was interesting. I don't know about Chen Riley though. That's an interesting choice.
Well, and I'm kind of thinking that's not really her name.
Oh, you think it's? Oh, well, considering what we know now.
Yeah, with what we know now, I'm thinking that was just
that was
that was one of those things. And there's also this thing that they do. I don't know. They do this thing on sci-fi shows sometimes where something's supposed to be 400 years in the future.
Right.
And somebody will go, well, you gave a white guy the last name Singh. And I'm like, okay, I know 2 Sikhs with the last name Singh who are white English people who grew up in India. You know, the races blend and mix and things change. And, my last name goes from being a French last name to an American last name, missing about 9 letters in 14 years. We got to change and adapt. That's why I loved in the Equality of Mercy that they took Hansen and made him Hansen al-Salam. So they gave him the same Danish first name, but then they gave him an Arabic last name.
Oh, okay.
I love that they did that because they just kind of blended some different names together and it works just fine.
I didn't even notice that. I did not notice that.
Yeah. But yeah, Una Chen Riley, I'm thinking Una probably has something to do with her name, Una being Latin for number one. Mm-hmm. Now, Chen Riley, I think, might just be a kayfabe name that she took, though.
I wonder, this is just a thought, I wonder if, the writers were like, hey, let's name her Chen Riley, let's see how it's, and let's keep the secret, as long as, I guess I think in episode 2, then they let us know what was going on with her 3 or something like that.
Yeah, well, see, because I was expecting that on Noonien Singh, I was expecting that it was going to turn out her colony ship that her family was on was actually a sleeper ship with eugenics escapees. So when they reversed that and they made number one the genetic experiment person,
right.
I was like, oh, okay, so they're not going to do it with her, and they kind of blindfolded me accidentally. They didn't realize they were fooling me with that one.
Now, I don't think anyone saw that coming out of left field, but I mean, we're clearly going to get some explanation, hopefully in season 2. But then I forgot about La'an. I don't know how I could, but then there's that. It's just like she is a Noonien Singh.
Yes.
And, you know, I've also read in the comment in the message boards, oh, well, Spock never mentioned it, you know, when he came on board in the original series. Da, 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 da. All right. For whatever reason, that wasn't touched on. Well, we know why it wasn't touched on in the original series, because these characters didn't exist before. You know,
right.
La'an didn't. But it's going to be interesting to see if they do touch on it. If they do, obviously we need to know what her backstory is. I mean, we're getting flashes of it, you know, it being fleshed out some with the Gorn. But everyone wants to know when mentions of Khan is going to happen. Or are they going to, like, is she going to, like, just talk to number one about it and swear her to secrecy, and that's how Spock doesn't know?
You know, no, something like that could very much happen, because look at the end of season 2 of Discovery. You know, you had all them nail biters and pearl clutchers. Oh, that spore drive never existed, and Spock never had a sister.
Yeah.
And then, okay, guys, 4 sentences in the last episode of the season just took care of every one of your arguments.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
We don't know what they're doing yet. You know, they're creative people. Let them have their time to tell their story.
Yeah, it was classified. You know, it's classified. You know, it's classified. But you know, I do feel like they will touch more on it, and they'll flesh it out.